Okay guys, now we move on and we are going to see how to do matching, where they give you list of researchers, list of scientists and all that. Remember one thing, we have questions 19 to 23. Now these questions and the passage, they are not in order, but still matching is type A questions, type A question type, okay? So why? Because list of researchers and the list is in order. Now I want you all to find George Kudla in the passage. Go back to passage and find George Kudla. George Kudla you find in A. Okay, wherever you find George Kudla, underline it please. Wherever you find George Kudla, underline it please. George Kudla. Wherever you find, just underline that. George Kudla. In paragraph A and then second last paragraph and then in last paragraph also. Okay? Now after that, please underline Keixia Gao. Keixia Gao. Keixia Gao. Underline that. Yeah, E last paragraph. Section E last paragraph. Now please underline Joyce Van Eyck. Joyce Van Eyck. Joyce Van Eyck. Absolutely. D. And we've got Joyce Van Eyck there. Got it? And then please now underline Jonathan Johns. Jonathan Johns. Good. Paragraph E. Got it? Now these are the locations where you are going to find the answers. Is this clear? Okay. Now how to do this question type? First of all, you guys are going to go to George Kudla. Right? And listen, please. One important thing I forgot to tell you. You have to find the statements of these people. If they mention the name of the person without statement, don't read it there. And most of the time, statements will come in inverted commas. Right? You're going to find, for example, sometimes inverted commas, otherwise they say, Kudla says, Kudla says, Kudla informs, Kudla tells. Something like that. So inverted commas or otherwise they use that word. Now we've got this first one, George Kudla. Okay. Where else you find George Kudla? In paragraph C, Kudla's team made. Now do we have his statement? In paragraph C, we don't have his statement. Paragraph A. Okay. Which paragraph of A? Okay, second last, again they say, okay, this could transform what we eat, says George Kudla. Now please focus here. This could transform what we eat, says George Kudla at the University of Münster in Germany, a member of the Brazilian team. Now his next statement. See, sometimes they give half statement, then they introduce the person, then they give the second half of the statement. There are 50,000 edible plants in the world. Focus. How many? 50. The edible means suitable for eating. There are 50,000 edible plants in the world, but 90% of our energy comes from just 15% crops. Now please come to the options. 90,000 edible plants and 90% of our energy comes from just 15 crops. Like 19% energy of our body comes from 15 crops. So please come back. Question number 19. Domestication of certain plants could allow them to adapt the future environmental challenges? No, but underline future environmental challenges. Question number 20. Idea of growing and eating unusual plants may not be acceptable on a large scale. Underline eating unusual plants. Question number 21. It is not advisable for the future direction of certain research to be made public. So, future direction of research to be made public, he says it is not advisable. Means, it means that in future they should not tell the direction of research to the people. Question number 22. Present efforts to domesticate one wild fruit are limited by the costs involved. Underline costs. For that, they will use the word money, finances, budget, and all that. Question number 23. Humans only make use of a small proportion of the plant food available on earth. Now, what is the word for small proportion? Absolutely. Absolutely. And what is the word for plant food available on earth? No, plant food available for earth, they use the word 50,000 edible plants in the world, but 90% of our energy comes from just 15 crops. So, question number 23, humans only make use of a small proportion of the plant food available on earth. Got it? Now, why small proportion? Because 50,000 plants, and आपको 50 से ज़्यादा सब्जियों के नाम नहीं आते होंगे. Okay? Yeah. So, question number 23, answer is A will be the right answer. Now, do one thing. Cross number 23 because it is done so that you don't read it again. Okay? Now, let's move on. After this, find Caixia Gao. Caixia Gao. Caixia Gao. Okay, now let's see if we have his statement over here. Caixia Gao. Okay, there are two locations. One location is here. And where is the second location? Paragraph E, second last paragraph. Okay, let's read here. We can now mimic the known domestication. I'm reading paragraph A, last paragraph. We can now mimic the known domestication course of major crops like rice, maize, sorghum, or others, says Caixia Gao of the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Beijing. Then we might try to domesticate plants that have never been domesticated. So underline, we might try to domesticate plants that have never been domesticated. This is one idea. Now please come to paragraph E. Paragraph E, second paragraph. Section E, second paragraph. The three teams already have their eye on other plants that could be catapulted into the mainstream, including foxtail, oatgrass, and cowpea. By chopping wild plants that are drought or heat tolerant, says Gao. Now listen, by choosing wild plants that are drought or heat tolerant, focus this thing, drought or heat tolerant, says Gao, we could create crops that will thrive even as the planet warms. Means, regardless of global warming, these plants will survive. Now focus this sentence and come back. Question number 19. Domestication of certain plants could allow them to adapt to future environmental challenges. And what is the future environmental challenge? Drought. No, they use the word global warming and they use this word. We could create crops that will thrive even as the planet warms. Even as the planet warms means the future environmental challenges. So for question number 19, domestication of certain plants could allow them to adapt to future environmental challenges. And future environmental challenge is global warming, and they use the word for that. Now please cross number 19 also. And what is the answer for 19? B. Now we go on. We've got option C. And that is Joyce Van Eyck. Option C, Joyce Van Eyck. Found it? Where? D. Now in D we've got Joyce Van Eyck. And again we are going to focus inverted commas. So do we find inverted commas in first paragraph of section D? No. Yeah. Please come to, alright. Please come to fourth last line. Fourth last line, last two words of paragraph, section D, listen, section D, second paragraph, fourth last line. Mil gaya sabko? Okay. There is a potential, got it? There is a potential, because this is in inverted commas, there is a potential for this to be a commercial crop, says Van Eyck, but she adds that taking the work further would be expensive because of the need to pay for a license for the CRISPR. Talking about money. It'll cost a lot. It's going to be expensive. Pay for license and this and that. So, question number 22. 2. Present efforts to domesticate one wild fruit are limited by the costs involved. Now, what is the word for costs involved? They use the word pay, then they use the word expensive, so that shows about cost. So for question number 22, answer is C. And cross 22 also. You know why are we crossing? So that you don't read them again. You don't read them time and again. Now what are we left with? Question number 20 and 21. And how many scientists are left? Now what does it mean? It means we got to use one name 2 times. Right? Sometimes 4 scientists, 4 statements. Sometimes 4 scientists, 6 statements. In that case, you will use that name second time as well. Now, who is the last one? Jonathan Johns. Please come to Jonathan Johns. E paragraph. Okay, please follow me. Section E, first paragraph. This approach could boost the use of many obscure plants, says Jonathan Johns of the Sainsbury lab in the UK, but it will be hard for new foods to grow so popular with farmers. What does he say? It will be hard, to grow, for new foods to grow so popular with farmers and consumers. If we give you a vegetable you've never eaten, you would not be willing to eat that, okay? Farmers and consumers, that they become new staple crops, he thinks. So what does he think? Yeah, let's come back. The idea of growing and eating unusual plants, for that he used the word new crops, new vegetables and all that, may not be accepted on large scale, may not be accepted by farmers and consumers. Yes, may not be accepted on a large scale. So question number 20, answer is D. Read it again, please. Read it again, paragraph E. But it will be hard for new foods. And for new foods, what is the word over there? Unusual plants, exactly. New food and unusual plants. And again, I'm telling you, you might bring with your reading class whenever we have, or even listening class, you can bring highlighter. In actual exam, highlighters are not allowed, strictly prohibited. Okay, but in this class you can bring a highlighter. At least you can highlight this is the question, this is this, and write question number, so that when you go back home, because there is always one sentence to answer one question. So if you underline that sentence and you write question number over there, at home you can practice with that. Now what are we left with? Question number 21. Now what is the question? Now when you are left with one question, read the question. It is not advisable for the future direction of certain research to be made public. Means don't tell people what they are researching into. Right? Now let's go back. Paragraph E. Okay. Can you see they have mentioned any other name? Gao they have mentioned. All right, please come to paragraph, section E, last paragraph. Section E, last paragraph. What do they say here? But Kudla didn't want to reveal which species were in his team's sights because CRISPR has made the process so easy. Anyone with the right skills could go to their lab and do this. So Kudla didn't want to reveal. Didn't want to reveal what? Come back. It is not advisable for the future direction of certain research to be made public. What is the word not to be made public? Reveal. Yes, Kudla didn't want to reveal which species were in his team's sights because CRISP has made the process so easy. Anyone with the right skills could go to their lab and do it. So for question number 21, correct answer is A. Now, please check your answers. 19, answer is B. B for boy. 20, D for doctor. 21, A for apple. 22, C for cat. And 23, A for apple. So they repeated that. Thank you.